let's just settle into our meditation posture. And again, just try and, after all, had kind of busy days, so just try and bring your mind inside the same place your body is. So trying to re-establish a connection with that stillness inside us. And trying to move, thinking about as we're interacting with people, trying to move from this place of stillness, which would include thoughtfulness and a lack of reactivity. So check your posture and your sits bones. Make sure your shoulders are aligned with the hips. Sits bones can be quite slightly raised, but you want to kind of be on top of them. Not too far forward, not too far behind. And just lengthen your spine. The head is very slightly tipped forward. And the eyes are down. They're looking at a spot a couple of inches ahead. If your eyes were open, and the tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. And just relax the jaw. You can wriggle it around if you want. We hold quite a bit of tension there. And bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax your scalp and the forehead and your eyes, the back of the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, and the back of the head, just at the base of the skull, the occipital area. Just release all the tension there. And relax the ears and the inner ear. You can imagine someone is shining a nice warm light in there, and everything just kind of relaxes and melts. And relax the temples, back of the tongue, and the jaw. And bring your awareness to the back of the neck and release all the tension there. Allow your shoulders and shoulder blades just to drop down. And relax the throat and the chest, the belly, the limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. So now we're nice and relaxed. Mind is has a little bit less activity. And just be aware of the air as it flows in and out of the nostrils. A little bit cooler as you're inhaling, slightly warmer as you're exhaling. And just be aware of any sounds in your environment if there are. Just allow them to be there. Try not to run off and investigate. And then bring the mind back to the breath and just notice the thoughts as they're arising. Maybe you have pictures arising in your mind like a movie from today. And just allow it all to arise, to abide, and just flow on. And then if there's some sort of negative self-talk going on, just be aware of what that is, without judgment, without criticism, without opinions. Just allow those thoughts to arise. But don't try and catch them. Just let them go. And we can imagine we're sitting on the bank of our river, just sitting, watching, without engagement. And while we're sitting on the bank, we're free from the river. And bring to mind all of our people, the ones we love, the ones we have a little bit of difficulty with, and those folk who are complete strangers to us, keeping in mind that they could change place at any time. And maybe they have in your life. Maybe you've seen it in someone else's life. But in terms of equanimity, it's good to sort of try and remember every now and then that we are actually all equal. Defined only by our wish to be happy and constantly looking for it and not really ever finding true happiness, lasting happiness. And our wish to be free from suffering and constantly running into that with problems here and there. So we are really all the same. We're basically all the same in this wish. Not separated by color or gender, or culture or language. Or by how we identify. We're just really all the same when it comes down to it. And then we're all the same also in this, having this incredible capacity for this enlightened mind. We're just all going about it in a different way. So that we'll do this meditation this evening for the benefit of all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings, and for ourselves as we're moving along our spiritual path. So remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. And we create negativity with our mind, so we can change it by creating positivity with our mind. So we start with a power of regret, and we sincerely regret from the depths of our hearts anything that we have done to harm any living being on this day and in this life, and then in all of our past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of any future suffering. So logically, it makes sense. We want to remove these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want this future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. So we can also regret any anger and attachment and the rest of the cause of why we harm others, and think I'm sick of suffering. And then we think, well, whom can I turn to? What can I do about it? So we think we're going to rely upon the Buddha, Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing the Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So you can imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your teacher, your spiritual mentor, your trusted mentor, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud. And it's this beautiful, radiant face. And he has these beautiful eyes. And they're shaped like lotus petals, sort of long. And he's looking at you in a very peaceful and compassionate way, happy way. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents enlightenment, the union of these two. To the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings and the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us by developing compassion for them. And so think particularly of people you have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think about those people maybe who've harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to manifest for them as suffering in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. So we start with the body, and imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sending powerful white nectar, sort of almost like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Supokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Supokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Supokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Supokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Supokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Supokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Supokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasatame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you have ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified. And just think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is a purification of speech. And Vajrasattva now very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So it's just imagine almost, it's a bit like when you fill up a dirty glass in a sink, all the junk kind of flows up to the top and then overflows. Except, I've heard that it overflows quite forcefully. Rinpoche has often said it's a hat blowing off the top of your head. So anyway, whether it's flowing over or blowing off, imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others with your speech. So imagine you're sitting with someone who's in some kind of distress, and then somehow you know exactly the most beneficial thing to say for them that will kind of calm their heart, calm their mind. So that kind of skill is very rare. Often we're trying to impose our opinions on others, even when they're feeling unhappy. So just to know when to keep our mouth shut, and when to speak, because it also benefits ourselves, because we're hearing it. So next is the purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately now sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you switch on a light, the light instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your depression and unhealthy attachment and desire and neediness and grasping and resentment and jealousy and bitterness and grudges, all of this are instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mipiyata sawa kamasita me sutam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mipiyata sawa kamasita me sutam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mipiyata sawa kamasita me sutam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mipiyata sawa kamasita me sutam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mipiyata sawa kamasita me sutam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mipiyata sawa kamasita me sutam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified. And think now, there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So now we purify even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine Vajrasattva sending, again, light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mipiyata sawa kamasita me sutam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mipiyata sawa kamasita me sutam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mipiyata sawa kamasita me sutam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida miboa, Sitokaya miboa, Sipokaya miboa, Anarakta miboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsu Sawa Kamasita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida miboa, Sitokaya miboa, Sipokaya miboa, Anarakta miboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida miboa, Sitokaya miboa, Sipokaya miboa, Anarakta miboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida miboa, Sitokaya miboa, Sipokaya miboa, Anarakta miboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham. So now feel you are completely purified. Not one atom of negativity is left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and quite crucial step in the purification process. So here we make a decision to refrain from harming. And nothing is going to happen in terms of our changing our habits until we decide that's what we want to do. So without this kind of determination, we're just going to keep doing the same old things. And this aspiration to not harm is it's like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So think of something that you'd like to work on between now and tomorrow. Maybe it's your speech. Maybe it's your attitude towards yourself. Maybe you have negative self-talk. Perhaps you want to catch that as it arises before you end up in some great big story about yourself. So grab it, stop it, and you can work on that for maybe a minute or 5 minutes, or focus on it for an hour. Or you can say, well, I won't be doing this. I'm going to refrain from doing this while I'm sleeping. And then you won't. So you kind of make a vow to yourself. So keep it doable so that you don't break it. Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind. It melts into light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. Now we meditate on a little bit of meditation on emptiness. So you think in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a little while. You can think about all phenomena as being empty. They don't exist from their own side. And perhaps you can think, the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, do some dedication prayers. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lam Zopa Rinpoche, O Tub Shul Chang Jin Jam Gon Galloway, Tenzin Kyong Pelaway, Ponza Dog Porze, Shog sum kurwe leg mon tu drub. Pa dag sog dulje gondu jab ten shog. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request, O Lama, please live long. And Geshe Cherub, beloved teacher leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. There we go. Gone like a dream, yet again. Lots of love, everybody. Sleep well, stay warm, sweet dreams. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night. And thank you for hosting. Thank you for guarding.